All right, let's just jump right in. We're going to do a deep linguistic dive into one of the most famous, most repeated phrases in the entire Qur'an. This is really a journey into the text itself, to see what it reveals when we set aside centuries of tradition and just listen to the words. Guide us to the Siratul al-Mustaqim. For more than 1 billion people, this isn't just some line from a book. It's a plea they make multiple times a day, every single day. It's the central request in Islamic prayer, and it's almost always translated as, guide us to the straight path. But what if that simple translation totally misses the profound, even radical idea that's embedded in the original Arabic? What happens if we treat this not as a settled fact, but as a mystery that we can solve using the Quran's own internal dictionary? Okay, so before we start digging for clues, we really need to set a baseline. What's the path we think we know? Let's take a quick look at the commonly accepted definition that's been passed down for centuries. So the traditional take is pretty straightforward. The straight path is the religion of Islam. It's seen as the specific roadmap of rituals and rules that you follow. And this reading, of course, creates a really clear identity marker. It separates those who are on the path from those who are not. So here's our game plan. We're going to use a classical technique called tasrif. And all that means is that we're going to let the Quran define its own terms. The whole idea is to look at every single time our keywords pop up, see the pattern they form, and use the text's own consistency as our guide. Our investigation starts with our first big clue, the word Siraat itself. Yeah, the common translation is path, but is it really just a simple road you walk on? Let's see. Linguistically, Siraat is so much more than just a dusty trail. It actually implies a trajectory, a clear, wide, and well-defined way that things move and operate. So think less of a footpath and more like the orbit of a planet. It's a fundamental way of being in motion. And the text itself hands us this huge clue by drawing a really stark contrast. It talks about one singular sirat that unifies, but then it warns against following multiple, plural subul, these other paths, which it says will scatter and divide you. This distinction between the one and the many, it's absolutely crucial. And then we get this. This is the absolute game changer. The text says that the creator, the Rabb, is upon a Sirat Mustaqim. Just pause and think about what that means for a second. If the creator is on this Sirat, it cannot possibly be a human religious path that's exclusive to one group of people. It must be describing something way more fundamental, like the very operating system of reality. Okay, so that's Sirat. Now for the second half of the phrase, Mustaqim. Is it just straight, like a ruler? Or is there something more active, more dynamic going on here? Well, the word Mustaqim comes from the root QWM, which means to stand up, to be established. So it doesn't just mean straight in a boring, linear sense. It means upright, consistent, balanced, and correctly oriented. It's something that is free from distortion and can stand on its own. This comparison here just illustrates the point perfectly. The Quran actually defines Mustaqim for us by showing us its direct opposite, the word iwaj, which means crookedness or distortion. The text even describes itself as having no iwaj, which just hammers home this core idea. Mustaqim means a complete and total lack of distortion. So being in a mustaqim state isn't a passive thing, it's an active condition. It's characterized by consistency in your principles, by actively upholding justice, and by being properly oriented and free from any distortion. It's a state of being that's self-sustaining because it's aligned with what's actually true. Okay, so we've looked at our two clues separately. Now it's time to put them together. What happens when we combine Sirat and Mustaqim? What does the full phrase really mean? So, Al-Siraat al-Mustaqim isn't the straight religious path. Based on the text's own evidence, it is the undistorted trajectory of reality itself. It's the consistent, balanced, and upright way the universe and, by extension, human society are actually designed to operate. And just look at this comparison. On the left, you've got the traditional reading, a path of ritual exclusive to one religion. But on the right, you have what the text itself shows, the very trajectory of reality, something the creator operates upon, defined by alignment with truth and accessed through verifiable signs, not some human authority. The difference is absolutely profound. And the Quran doesn't just leave this as some abstract idea. In verses 151 to 153, it explicitly lists out what this path looks like in practice. And it's not about specific rituals. It's about universal ethical actions that maintain social balance and justice. Things like protecting the vulnerable and being honest in all your dealings. Now, this new understanding, it creates a kind of ripple effect. It forces us to rethink another key Quranic term that's very often misunderstood, the word Deen. When we see the word Deen, our brains almost automatically translate it to religion, but the Quran uses it to mean a system of law and accountability. For instance, in the story of Joseph, it talks about the Deen of the king, which means the king's legal and social operating system. It's a functional framework. And this gets us to the real heart of the Quran's critique. It's not a critique of other beliefs. It's a critique of the act of taking the one universal Deen, that system of reality, and chopping it up into competing, human-made sects, where every little faction just delights in its own exclusive identity. This table here makes it crystal clear. The Quranic idea of Deen is this single, unifying societal operating system based on justice. But what we call religions today, well, they're often the fragmented, scattering subul that the Quran warned us about, the result of dividing that one Deen. So, we've deconstructed the words, we've followed the clues, we've redefined the concepts, but what's the ultimate takeaway here? Why does this shift in perspective actually matter so much? It means that when someone prays, "Guide us to the Siraat al-Mustaqim," they aren't asking to be signed up for a specific religious club. No, they're making this incredibly profound plea for clarity. They're asking, "Help me perceive reality as it actually is, and give me the strength to align my life with that undistorted truth." And that leaves us with one final powerful thought. This undistorted trajectory of justice, of consistency, of balance, it isn't something we have to go out and build. It's already woven into the very fabric of existence. It's already here. The only real question left for us is, are we aligned with it?